are watching on the replay for this class, you're going to want to have your Theragun or a percussion tool. If you don't have a massager tool, you can just be placing your hands on the area that we are going to be guided to pay attention to and just offer some support. But this class works the best when you do have a percussion tool to help offer more circulation to your body. And also, we are working out of workbooks, but if you don't have one of the workbooks, you can look below this video here and you can find the link to the free PDF that gives you the full page of the daily practice that we are working through today. So if you don't have that, you can look below. There's a spiritual neutral one and there's a Christ-based one, and find the one that resonates with you and speaks to your spiritual path. And then we can go ahead and begin. Also, for those of you who are listening on the replay, one of the benefits of listening on the replay is that you can pause until you actually feel the change happen in your body. That's going to be something different for everybody, that time frame. And so really encourage yourself to honor yourself with where you are. When you're going live with us, we are really touching into all the main points and trying to help establish that flow through the system, but it is helpful to do both and kind of navigate through doing both on your own. When we come into days that are scheduled as self-practice days, which are days that we have other events and other things going on, in the self-practice days, it's a helpful thing to go back and just do it as slow as you possibly can to really make sure you're feeling that conversion. All right, so let's go ahead and begin together today. This is Wednesday morning, and let's take a moment to notice how we are held by the place where we are seated. Let's turn our attention inward together and notice how we are held. And as you are noticing that body part where you are held, you want to go ahead and write that down into your journal. And we're saying, here is where I am already held, right where I am seated. Here is where I am already held, right where I am seated. Let your brain see that. And then notice, what does it feel like to be held? What image do you see? What word do you see? Or what do you feel in the way that you are held? And you're drawing that on your diagram. That's just a way of helping that articulation. And then we want to take a moment and notice, how does your mind see yourself engaging with this challenge? So like if you're watching yourself on a stage and you're seeing yourself relating to this, what do you see happening? And then how do you speak about today's challenge? And then you want to take a moment and notice, what is the impulse to behave as you're facing into this challenge? And then what are the emotions and the sensations that come up as you're facing into this challenge? And how does your breathing respond to this challenge? And then in the past, when you have faced into a similar challenge, how did that play out? What happened for you? And this present challenge makes me think my future will be. So you're wanting to see if you can really feel the way that your challenge is alive in your body, the direction it's trying to move you. And you're looking at that on your diagram. Hopefully you've been able to draw that on your body diagram. And now we're going to do a little bit of movement and some Theragun, but again, we're wanting to have that finesse with the movement where we're letting the aliveness of the restriction fully come into our system. So we're going to first take a moment to notice how are you connected to the place that you're seated now. And notice how that changed from when we began. So you actually want to see if you can articulate that change. How did it change? The quality of support and your footprint connected to it. And then you want to notice the part of your challenge and we want to feel that challenge coming in. So think about, when we were working this weekend in the classes, we're talking about that pressure coming in. I want my body to be able to be filled with that pressure. And so even if I'm just moving my arms from a side to side, I want the pressure to be able to fill me to my skin. I want to keep it in my body. I don't want to blow it out. I want it to be able to come in. So even if we start with the arms, let's talk about this shortly. What we want to be able to share is what direction is my challenge trying to take me away from God's living support that's right here for me? What direction is my challenge trying to take me away from the living support? We're not sharing any story. We're not sharing anything else. We're just talking about the direction. Okay, guys? I'm going to take off the mics, let the mics come in so you guys can talk. we want to be able to feel, can I let that pressure build? For me, it is a coming forward and me being the doer talking rather than resting the way that I'm fatigued into the support's giving me and letting what I'm saying come from that place of being supported. So instead, I'm in front and I'm going every direction, but letting myself be held. And so I can feel that pulling me forward. I'm a fight energy, so mine's going to go that way. Some of you may be more collapsy. Some of you just may be avoidant, so kind of skittery, not really able to hold focus, but knowing, can you feel in your body which way today you are being pulled? See if you can name that where you guys are. What do you guys notice?
I notice that I want to move away from my connection to the divine, almost like I'm going to do this coping mechanism, and there's a secrecy about it.
Right.
So I want to rush forward, and I want to do it when nobody sees me.
Okay. So feel that and feel the movement of that. So it's really great detail in your system, even like the moving forward, but the sneakiness of it or whatever that is, there's a way that that flows in your system. And I want that to be able to flow to the edge of my skin and then let it be there. So it almost like it builds and
Yeah.
protect it, even like even just be really tender with how that comes alive in my system. And I'm taking care of that. So you're letting it be there. Who else has a way that they can feel? What direction are you trying to move away from God's support?
Mine is curling tightly into a ball and hide.
Okay. And so see where that takes you in your body. Where's your support?
It's my low back, my hips.
So when you're going to curl into a ball, where do you go? Like, where do you go? Are you just still right at that edge of being carried, but you're just not letting yourself be carried there? You're just collapsing? Or is
Yeah.
it, are you coming up higher? You're just right there at that
No.
edge.
Yeah.
Isn't that remarkable? Like, that's really kind of amazing too, that when we are moving more into that collapsy state, we're like even closer, or like just like a centimeter, even though our consciousness doesn't really recognize that at that time. So letting yourself go fully back to that place while still having that separation a little bit. And noticing, so guys, one of the things, and we're going to get into this probably in about a month, talking about mobilization, but just very simply, if you're going back or you're going forward, how does your face, how does your emotional sensory core, your hands and your feet also move in? So if I'm retracting, how do my hands retract in? How do my feet push me back in, push me away, retracting? If I'm going forward, how do my hands and my feet want to move to push me forward or avoidant? And watch what happens when you let all of your limbs and your emotional sensory core move with it. Another participant, what would you like to share? What do you guys have? What are you noticing?
Because it takes me a long time to settle into the support, I've been trying to be conscious of that support either as I'm walking during the day or as I'm lying down to sleep at night.
Uh-huh.
And early morning, I woke up this morning at 2:30 and I felt really led to settle into that support. And at first I did. And it
Uh-huh.
was wonderful, and I felt like I was close to a breakthrough, but there was some part of me that was like, I was lying on my back and my whole back was soaking it up, and I was almost getting to the rooted place. And then it was like some part of me couldn't handle any more. I was grateful, but I couldn't handle any more, and I needed to turn to my side. And so one of me was
Okay,
really
so pause
sad.
there for a second. Like we're getting into story. We just want to be
Sorry.
able to say,
Yeah.
no, it's okay, guys. It's just we need to be able to like, what direction
Yeah.
are you moving? So it's that part of yourself right now that couldn't handle anymore and is turning to the side. So you're wanting to feel that movement of that part that's turning to the side and turning away. That can
Yeah.
be avoidant. And there's nothing wrong with any of these parts that are doing this, guys. Like this is every single day, we're going to have a part that has not yet been able to fully come home. So even just in the way that we are talking about it, like there should be an expectation that there's a part of me that hasn't been brought back into this yet for the rest of my life. I'm going to have parts that are still showing up because some of it's about me and some of it is about our immediate circle family collective, and some of it is about our world collective, and we're doing it in ourselves. We're learning the nuance of relationship within ourselves and being able to feel how things are moving away and being able to bring it back in. So what we're really looking at just very simply is, how am I moving away from this? Can I articulate that I'm moving away from this in this way? So for yours is I'm turning and I'm going a different direction.
Yeah.
Feel that turning and going. And then there's another participant. What are you noticing? Who's on?
I'm not aware of any movement. It's almost, I guess it would be freeze, because I can't sense that I'm able to move at all.
So it could be freeze. It could also be dispersed. It could be like the disassociation kind of thing.
That would be more likely, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Given what I've been discovering, yeah, I think so.
So see if you can feel the boundary of the disassociation. Where are you? You can see your body's in freeze, and where is the boundary of that?
I can't tell right now.
So it could be almost like a mist or a fog. We want to take a moment to let it develop. We want to take a moment like the Polaroid to let it present. Where am I? Where am I with this?
I'm hiding.
Yeah, you're hiding. Okay, so just write down that word and see if you can feel. And I just want to offer something here, guys, that the level of hiding is in direct proportion to how unsafe at some point you felt. Okay? Your system doesn't go into hiding unless there was something that evoked your need for that. And I just want to pause the class for a second and say, hey guys, guess what we just did? Each of us are doing all of the ways of disconnection. So in this class this morning, you can see that we are doing all of the directions. And I think it's hilarious. It's like when you really see, we're just here in the morning, sitting down in neutral houses for the most part, trying to connect to God. And when we really sit down and we're really invited to feel what is true, we're in 5 different directions away from that. So when we think about, in our world, in how we are coming into relationships with each other. What directions is everybody in? And then we're relating to each other from that place, rather than being able to recognize that and come into our center line. But that's really hard. That's what we're strength training. It's going to take us each probably 5 more books of doing this to be able to hold and strength train that tethering to God, right? And the reason that we're not tethered in that way is because we have navigated through something that's been difficult. So it's like really kind of neat to feel the group, what each of us are doing, and then come out of the shame and guilt and frustration with ourselves that we just can't come in tethered, like that we should just be there. And it's like, no, relationally, this is how we have coped with the intensity of our life. Notice what stands out for your own awareness and for your own care for yourself, and permission for yourself to have done it the way that you do it, and how it's uniquely yours. We each have like this little superpower of dysfunction. It is a superpower of dysfunction because it's like, that's what I had to do in order to survive. I had to hide. I had to be sneaky. I had to overpower. Somebody else had to turn away. Somebody else had to retreat back. Can you guys see that? It's perfect. How does it make you feel when you can see? And for those of you listening on the replay, you're going to have one of these configurations and maybe some little unique offshoot of how that is, but it's going to be primarily one of these configurations done in your unique way. So what we want to do is we're going to take the Theragun and we are caring for that part of myself. I am not taking the Theragun to get rid of the tension. I'm saying I did the best I could. And now I'm inviting myself to come into relationship with God and see where God is going to bring that part of me home, reparent me, let me really rest in the support I'm being given so I can move forward today more tethered to this mystery of living support and care. So I'm going to turn the audios back off. We're going to do the Theragun. We're going to do a 5-minute rest, and then we're going to go back through really bringing the personality of how we have coped into relationship with the support God is giving us. So let's start first with the Theragun. I'm going to turn your guys' mics back off. Or you guys turn it off on your end so that you can then reconnect it on your end. So for the legs, you guys, I'm sitting Indian style or cross-legged. And one of the things I can do to mobilize my legs is I can push into my hands this way. And that lets me activate my arms and lets me activate my legs and my back line. I can also lean back into my chair to kind of help my spine move. And remember, those are things to just keep letting that part of me that has done the best it could be here with me in my body. I can also turn, and I definitely want to turn and see, can I see this side of my room? Can I look up and down? Can I see this side of my room? Can I look up and down? We're making space for that part to come in. And then we're using our Theragun. Where do you feel it? Where do you feel that that part has been, like it's been a lot? We want to turn on the Theragun, and then we're breathing into where it is. And as we exhale, we're softening down. And again, we're breathing into where it is. And we're softening down. And we're really letting that part of ourself come back home. The tension or the fatigue that you feel in your body, or the anxiety or whatever it is that you're feeling, is because that part's been having to keep going in the direction that you feel. It keeps going there. You've lived in that posture off and on for years. There we go. And so then we're kind of coming back in and just feeling if there's some other places you can shift to. We want to move through some of the other areas. And you guys want to turn your mics off on your end, and that way you can reconnect them back from your end. Good. And then about another minute. Good. Okay. And we're going to take about 5 minutes. And you want to lay down. And you want to be really welcoming that part in, or welcoming that part back. Thinking about how that part that you did the best you could. Okay, so we're taking a moment and we're coming back to our seated position. And we're going to go back through. We're being invited to, we're just really holding, see if you can feel the personality or the age. There might be multiple ages, but it's like this behavior response was for a reason. And so we're holding our sweet little brains in that. And I'm saying, this is how I saw it. This is how I saw myself responding to these circumstances. And you want to write down your response. And then we want to hold how we speak about it. And I'm facing this into the heart of the God that supports me, the heart of the consciousness that supports me, and that I follow. So I'm saying, this is how I've been speaking about it. And you're holding with your hands your sweet little voice. And then your impulse to behave comes alive in your collarbones. So this is where we're going to kind of feel that movement freeze to disassociate, a curling back, a turning away, a being sneaky, or a just direct running people over. You're just noticing which way do your collarbones go, right? Which way have you been behaving? Got to do something. I'm going to have to go one direction. This is just the direction that you chose, and you're holding that and bringing that to the heart of God, saying, this is what I did. And we're allowing the collarbones to be held. And then you're writing down your response. And then we're holding the emotion and the sensations that come up. And you're writing down your response. And then we're holding the lungs with the inner part of our arms. We're holding the lungs and the collarbones. And you want to write your response. Make sure you're using your name in the responses Sorry, I haven't. I didn't say that. And taking what it has been like in the past. And then the present challenge makes you think your future is going to be. There we go. And then we're going to take a moment to, we want to notice today, so you are going to be invited to bring this part of you through your day. We get to let God model for us, how do I reparent this part of myself? What do I feed this part of myself? How much permission for rest do I give this part of myself? How do I take care with the Theragun of this part of myself? My job today is to, with God, reparent this part that had to hide, had to sneak, had to run people over, had to curl back or turn away. That is your focus today with Christ. So we will reconvene later tonight on this topic, on this. How did we do today? We have 2 live classes today. We have a 10:45 class that is we're taking the next step in just kind of really solidifying these skills that we learned in the somatic massage course. So today's one is how do I arrive with the gift and begin to work with that. These are recorded. They will be in the app. I have to make a little class place for the 16-hour jaw and occiput, but the concepts are going to be in there. And then we also have the participate class where we're going to be talking about refinement, the journey of refinement, and how do we just let ourselves like come messy and come to be able to receive input from God and input from each other and be vulnerable and let ourselves just keep growing and not popping off into shame and guilt and pride and all these other things that it's really easy for us to do. So those are the 2 classes that are coming today. Also, both of those will be recorded, so you can access them in the app. That's at 10:45 for the somatic massage, at 12 o'clock for the participate in Christ. Both of those will be added to the apps by the end of the day if you're not able to be there live. And then we'll come back tonight and we'll reconvene. How was it for this part of yourself that was moving away from God? How is it for you to befriend that part and allow God to walk with you in reparenting that part? It's a coming home. You know, this is homecoming week for Gators, for those of you who are in town here. And this is a homecoming. And we're going to be doing this over and over and over again. the gentleness that we can lean into with Christ that allows us to gather these parts in is the gentleness that we then become in the world. We have to receive it first. Thank you all for being on here this morning. It's really awesome to be with you, and I look forward to seeing you in the later practices today or this evening. Have a great day.